Let's get this thing started. Welcome to another episode of Today I Learned That. In 2012, Richard Old Man Harrison from the hit show Pawn Stars removed his son Christopher from his will, leaving everything to his other son Rick and grandson Corey. The family feud was kept private until Harrison's death in 2018 when the will was made public. Today I learned that 6 Georgia inmates out on work detail saved a deputy sheriff who collapsed unconscious. They could have taken his gun and fled with the work van, but they used the deputy's phone to call 911. The sheriff's office gave the men a pizza party with homemade dessert and recommended reduced sentencing. Today I learned that a very frugal librarian, the late Robert Morin, left millions of his life savings to the University of New Hampshire where he worked as a librarian. Then the university spent $1 million of that money on a scoreboard for a new football stadium. Today I learned that when Rockstar Games first released Grand Theft Auto, they actually paid reviewers to negatively review the game in order to keep it controversial, and therefore popular. They targeted right-wing newspapers to ensure moral outrage and drive the game to success. Today I learned that Judith Love Cohen, who helped create the Obert Guidance System, which rescued the Apollo 13 astronauts, went to work on the day she was in labor. She took a printout of the problem she was working on to the hospital. She called her boss and said she finished the problem and subsequently gave birth to the actor Jack Black. Today I learned about Marion Strokes, a Philadelphia woman who began taping whatever was on television in 1979 and didn't stop until her death in 2012. The 71,000 VHS and Betamax tapes she made are the most complete collection preserving this era of TV. They are being digitized by the Internet Archive. Today I learned that a New Jersey man bought a $5 bottle of orange juice from ShopRite. His wife said it was too expensive and sent him back to return it because it was on sale for $2.50 elsewhere. He then decided to buy 2 lottery tickets with the cash refunded from the OJ, and he ended up winning $315.3 million. Today I learned that Shia LaBeouf came under heavy fire for plagiarizing his directorial debut in 2012. When he publicly apologized to the original artist, Dan Clowes, people discovered that Shia's apology was itself plagiarized verbatim off of a Yahoo's Answers post from 2010. Today I learned that 29-year-old Marine veteran Taylor Winston stole a truck to drive victims of the Las Vegas shooting to the hospital. He and his girlfriend made 2 trips, having to pick up only the most critically injured 10 to 15 people each time, after helping boost others over a fence away from the shooter. Today I learned that Persian King Alpha Muhammad Khan ordered the execution of 2 servants for being too loud. Since it was a holy day, he postponed their execution by a day and made the servants return to their duties. They ended up murdering the king in his sleep that night. Today I learned that apes don't ask questions. While apes can learn sign language and communicate using it, they have never attempted to learn new knowledge by asking humans or other apes. They don't seem to realize that other entities can know things they don't. It's a concept that separates mankind from other apes. Today I learned in Lord of War starring Nicolas Cage, they bought 3,000 real guns for filming because it was cheaper to buy real guns and resell later than buying props. They also rented 50 tanks which were only available for a short period because the source had to sell them to Libya later. Today I learned that dogs get sprayed by skunks so often because skunks lift their tail as a warning. Dogs see this as, "Come and smell my butt," which is exactly the opposite message from what the skunk is trying to send. Today I learned that while beavers are trying to knock down trees, they stop for a few seconds and listen to the crackling sounds coming from the tree. If the sounds become too much, they move away and wait for the tree to fall. Today I learned why Five Guys gives extra fries at the bottom of the bag. They do it so the guests think they're getting a good deal. However, the extra fries are already factored into the menu price. Founder Jerry Morrell also says it's better for customers to feel that their serving of fries was too large. Today I learned that in Forrest Gump, when his microphone is cut off at the rally, what you don't hear him saying is, "Sometimes when people go to Vietnam, they go home to their mamas without any legs. Sometimes they don't go home at all. That's a bad thing." And that's all I have to say about that. Today I learned that Gordon Ramsay set up a business inside of a London prison that taught inmates how to bake and sell the goods on the outside. This provided the prison with financial support while giving the inmates work experience they could use to find honest work after their sentence. Today I learned a guide dog named Roselle led a group of people, including her blind owner, down 78 flights of stairs before the North Tower collapsed on 9/11. She only stopped to give kisses to a woman who was having a panic attack. Today I learned that the creators of Parks and Recreation did research for the show by interviewing actual government officials. One said, "Well, I'm a libertarian, so I don't really believe in the mission of my job. Yes, I'm aware of the irony." The character of Ron Swanson was born. Today I learned that after writing the main riff of Seven Nation Army, Jack White planned to save it in case he was ever asked to write a James Bond theme. Deciding this was unlikely to happen, he recorded the song anyways. 5 years later, he was asked to write the theme song for the Bond film Quantum of Solace. Today I learned the Hawaiian island of Kauai encourages tourists to check a dog out of shelters for a day as part of a field trip program for dogs. Having the dogs out and about gives them exercise and increases their chances of getting adopted by a local. Today I learned that Mario Puzo, the author of the Godfather books who'd also adapted them to film, had no idea what he was doing, as he had never written a screenplay before. After winning 2 Oscars, he decided to buy a book on screenwriting to learn how. In the first chapter it said, "Study Godfather 1." Today I learned that after Martin Luther King Jr. was killed in 1968, his funeral was held at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and a small group of current students were chosen to be ushers for his funeral. One of those ushers was Samuel L. Jackson. Today I learned that the Make-A-Wish Foundation granted a child his wish to visit the set of Thor Ragnarok. When Thor sees Hulk enter the arena at Sakaar, the child said that Thor should say, "He's a friend from work." And as we all know, it made it into the film. Today I learned that Gary Gygax's wife was convinced he was having an affair, so she followed him to a dimly lit basement and burst into the room only to find him and his friends hunched over hand-drawn maps. Gary would go on to invent the role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons. Today I learned that Max Planck was told by his professor not to go into physics because almost everything is already discovered. Planck said he didn't want to discover anything, just learn the fundamentals. He went on to originate quantum theory and win a Nobel Prize. Today I learned in 1836, a sewer worker accidentally discovered an old drain which ran directly into the Bank of England's gold vault. He wrote letters to the directors of the bank and requested a meeting inside the vault, an hour of their choosing, and popped out of the floor to greet them. Today I learned that after Beethoven went deaf, he found he could affix a metal rod to his piano and bite down on it while he played, enabling him to hear perfectly through vibrations in his jawbone. The process is called conduction. Today I learned that Mythbusters once tested a combination of common materials that made an extremely powerful explosive. They deleted the tapes and swore to never release the information, then contacted DARPA and warned them about the possibility of misuse from the combination. Today I learned that only 3 people in the nation were qualified to hand-pack the parachutes for Apollo 15. Their expertise was so vital that they were never allowed to ride in the same car together for fear that a single auto accident could cripple the space program. Today I learned that the Japanese bullet train system is equipped with a network of sensitive seismometers. On March 11, 2011, one of the seismometers detected an 8.9 magnitude earthquake 12 seconds before it hit and sent a stop signal to 33 trains. As a result, only 1 bullet train derailed that day. Today I learned that Angelina Jolie once tried to hire a hitman to kill her because she felt that a murder would be easier on her family than her committing suicide. The would-be hitman talked her out of it by asking her to wait a month. Today I learned that when Lawrence Anthony, known as the Elephant Whisperer, passed away, a herd of elephants arrived at his house in South Africa to mourn him. Although the elephants were not alerted to the event, they traveled to his house and stood around for 2 days and then dispersed. Today I learned that a Polish environmental charity put a SIM card in a GPS tracker to follow the migratory patterns of a white stork. They lost track of the stork and later received a phone bill for $2,700. Someone in Sudan had taken the SIM from the tracker and made over 20 hours of calls. Today I learned that Jim Carrey was the first actor to have 3 films go straight to #1 in the same year. The year was 1994 and the films were The Mask, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and Dumb and Dumber. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe.